Welcome to Section 4, Creating Schematics. In this section, we're going to learn about schematics and what they are used for. Then, we're going to create a simple schematic to learn how they work. Finally, we'll create an advanced schematic bundled inside an npm package. Let's get started. Video 1. Introduction to Schematics. Angular CLI's code generation is powered by small utilities called schematics. These schematics take your current project's file tree and transform it in different ways. Angular CLI workspaces include a collection of schematics that power app scaffolding using ng-new and feature generation using ng-generate. Let's take a look at them. We can take a look at what schematics are available inside an Angular CLI workspace by running ng-generate --help. As you can see, these schematics are provided by the @schematics/Angular collection. These are probably familiar to us already, as we went over some of them in the previous section. Schematics are also used when we run the ng-add command to install a new dependency. This command adds the package dependency, installs the dependencies, and then runs the ng-add schematic from the new library it just installed. This schematic might add styles to the main HTML file, add module imports to the app module, and much more. This is an incredibly powerful feature, and it makes adding complex libraries a breeze. Let's see an example. Material design is a visual language created at Google. You might be familiar with this style if you use an Android phone or if you use Google products online. For Angular, we have the Angular Material Library available. It's an official library that contains Angular components created with the material design style and behavior. Getting it set up with your Angular projects takes a few steps: adding style sheets, adding dependencies, importing modules in different places. The fastest way to get it set up is to install the @angular/material package with ng-add. It will set up all the necessary dependencies, add styles, and also add new schematics for you. After adding the package, we can use these new schematics by running ng-generate, and then the name of the collection of schematics, and then the name of the schematic, followed by any options that the schematic might have. Let's see this in action. Now that the project is ready, let's change into that directory. And let's add the Angular material dependency using ng-add. Now Angular CLI is fetching the @angular/material from npm and running its ng-add schematic for us. Let's pick the default option for this schematic. As you can see, Angular CLI has updated the package.json, the main TypeScript file, the app module, the Angular JSON configuration, the main HTML file. That is a lot of work. And here's our demo project. And as you can see, these files have been modified. This style has been added to the compilation, and it's also been added for the test version. Over in the package.json, we can see a bunch of different dependencies that we didn't have before. Imagine doing all of them manually. And finally, in the app module, you can see that the browser animations module has been added. This module is used by Angular Material to animate components. And over here in the index file, you can see the font for material icons and the Roboto font with different weights. Again, imagine doing all of that by hand. Okay, now that we have Angular material available, let's call a schematic from the new collection that we have available. And let's call this nav element top nav. Remember that if we run ng-generate without specifying the collection before the colon, it will use @schematics/Angular by default. And that collection doesn't have a nav schematic in it. And as we can see here, Angular CLI has generated a new component powered by the nav schematic. Let's take a look at it. And here inside of the app directory, we can see the nav component. And we can see this is not a trivial component, it actually has some logic in it. You can see that it's using some of the Angular CDK's functionality to set this property. Okay, let's add this top nav to the app component and see it in action. Now let's make sure that the test server is running. Let's run yarn run start. Nice! And all of this was generated with a single command. And remember, we generated this entire component with a single command. That's impressive.